Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the cabin out here at St. Bernard Acres. How y'all are? This is Sunday, November 24th. Beautiful day. Actually, the sun came out today. Haven't seen sun for a week. I'm a happy boy, I'm telling you. Didn't get that warm, but, it's good enough for me. Let's see. The purpose of today's video is quite simple. Neil over at Liberty Creek Off Grid, y'all need to go check out his channel, by the way. Beautiful cabin he's got built. It's kind of like following what I was doing a little bit as far as solar goes. And he set up solar and mentioned it doesn't really do everything that you want to get done. So he's thinking about having an electric run to the cabin. And he was wondering if I could do like kind of an overview of what I went through to get electric out here. No problem with that. I've had it for a year now. Do I have any regrets? Zero regrets. I love having power out here. What a game changer that became. It really does. I respect people that go with solar and that are off grid. I got no problem with that. I like all the modern conveniences of electricity though. To run all the stuff I want to run, if I did a solar system, it would be so expensive, I couldn't possibly pay for it. Therein lies the problem. If you want to go off grid, you want everything solar, unless you can put in an $80,000 system, right? You've got to make a lot of lifestyle changes. You have to adapt to the limited electricity that you're going to be able to have available to you, or that you're going to be able to generate. That's the biggest problem with solar. I ran electric to this. I have all the power I want in this cabin. I do everything in here. The barn is all the lights, the power. I run my tools in there. My tool room's lit. My studio's lit. It just is all different, and I love it. I don't have a problem with being on grid. I have my solar in case we lose the grid. If it goes down, I can always throw my solar system back together and I'm good to go. I'll be forced to make the adjustments. But until then, I like having electric. So, you watch this. I shot a little bit of video trying to explain all the steps that I went through in getting electricity here and running it all. Mind you, again, I'm not an electrician. I did all of this. I wired all of this cabin, the barn, the house, all of the electric coming from the meter, the disconnect. I mean, I did everything with the help of friends and electricians who answered my questions and everything. Dang, I'm slobbering all over myself. I didn't eat a gummy yet. Anyway, check out this video. I'll be back. Alright, so this is my neighbor's driveway. This is Bobby's driveway. And there is his pole. That's the closest pole to St. Bernard Acres. I had to come off of those wires on the top, the high voltage wires. And had I wanted to go with poles and run it down to my driveway, all those trees, everything would have to come out. And neither one of us wanted to do that, to clear all of that. We like everything being hidden by those. So our option was to go underground. We had to dig a trench 280 feet long, 36 to 48 inches deep. That was a lot of fun. But the electric company brought out a trailer with one of their rolls on it that had their wire already encased in PVC tubing. That was on a giant roll down there by that pole. What we did was start trenching from there. And if I can walk this path all the way across here, we continued kind of like through the woods, if you will. See if I can kind of follow the path here. But all of this, it was a difficult job because of all the tree roots and clay. I mean, we had to go down, like I said, 36 to 48 inches. That was a trip. They had come out and marked where they wanted to put the transformer. So I thought this would be the best location. So we trenched to here. This is their ground mount transformer. They supplied that. And the wire coming through all of that. Now I had to bring it down to here. We had to dig the trench, pull the wire, leave like 8 feet of it sticking out of the ground, and then backfill all of this before the electric company came out. And then we had to put this meter base and 200 amp disconnect switch in place. Then you see the 4-inch PVC there that goes down underground and over to this transformer and sticks up. So all of that had to be in place before they came out. Now the only thing they did, I had to buy all of this and I had to install all of this before they came out. They came out, hooked up the wire in the grounds transformer, ran their wire through the conduit and up to the meter base. And then that was the extent of their responsibility. They hooked it up on the power line down there, of course, but then that was it. So then it was up to me to distribute the power to St. Bernard Acres. And what I did inside this disconnect are some breakers. I have like, I think 4 slots for breakers. I have a 30 amp double pole breaker going for the cabin. And I have a 100 amp double pole breaker going to the barn. So let me show you how I did that. In that 1-inch conduit PVC is the 10-3 wire that carries 30 amps to the cabin. In the bigger PVC is the 224 underground wire running to the barn and to the house. So 30 amps going to the camper, 100 amps going to the barn and house. Now before you say something about you got to have 200 amps, you got to have 200 amps, this is 200 amp service coming here, but I'm going to send some of it over to Alex's house eventually. And in Wheeling, in my house at Wheeling, I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that everything except the furnace is electric. Electric dryer, electric stove, electric water heater, central air, everything. I have a 100 amp service. We got 4 adults living there, everybody with TVs and game systems and computers. We've never had a problem with our 100 amps of service. So I'm not concerned about just me and Gail in the little house. So let's see if I can get over to the cabin now and show you my hookup there. That's all the mess we had to create clearing out a spot for Alex's building. I wish he'd come and clean it up. All right, let's see if I can get through here. If it wasn't for this multiflora rose. That's some nasty stuff. All right. So, what I have going on now is it's about 125 feet from here out to the meter base back there, if you can see that. So what I did was run this 20 or 10-3 wire underground, brought it up here, put an end on it, and plugged it into the cabin. That's a 30 amp RV receptacle there that is wired into my service panel in the cabin. The reason for that is when I had all of my solar just ran out of the inverter, an extension cord that plugged in there. If I needed the generator running, I would just plug into the 30 amps coming out of the generator, which is in the power room here. But I could just run an extension cord from either my solar or my generator and just plug it in and over there, and always had power. I decided to leave that instead of hardwiring it in, because if we lose power, it's easy to turn the generator on and I will still have power inside the cabin. So all of that is buried underground. And then we also trenched from that meter base back there all the way down through here. You can still see some of it. All the way down to the house. Then I've got it split off to where I take power into the house, and then the power goes back out to the barn. So everything has electric. Now, the electric company's only responsibility was getting the ground transformer in and hooking it up to the meter. Everything else has been my responsibility. I am not an electrician. I'm not telling you to do it this way. Out here, I didn't have to get permits. I don't have inspections or anything. I just had to learn how to do it, and with the advice and help of friends, we've got everything working now. It's been a year, and we've had 0 issues. So the charge from the electric company was $5,300 for what they did. But once I get you have to have 4 things, right? A driveway, a house, a water supply, and a septic. When you have those 4 things, then they consider this where you would live, and they would have done all that pretty much for free. But if within 3 years of having the service, I meet those 4 standards, then I get $5,200 back from the electric company. So it would have wound up costing me to the electric company about $300 for what they did. And the good thing about all the trenching we had to do and bury their wire, that's their wire. So if anything ever becomes an issue, it's their responsibility to dig it up and replace it. I don't have to do that. But yeah, I mean, that's how simple it was to do. And we were laughing about it. We were talking. It's like you have a driveway, you have a house. I said, well, there's a well about 30 yards across the property line. You know, we don't use it, but it's there. He said, well, it doesn't say it has to be hooked up. You have a well. So all I have to do is hook up the, once I get the septic system in the spring, then it's going to cost about $6,000 or $7,000 for the septic, as near as we can tell. I'll get $5,000 of that back. So we'll figure it out one way or the other. There's no point in putting the septic in now because I'm not going to be using it. But yeah, that's how I got electric run to
St. Bernard acres.
Oh, you're back. Okay. About to finish this up. This is a fantastic book. This is one of the best I've ever read that deals with Civil War history. And Stonewall Jackson is one of the best generals this country ever created, in my humble opinion. But the book is fantastic. He did a couple others. Now I'm going to have to look up his other books. How Hitler Could Have Won World War II is one he did. Now, after reading this, I'm really anxious to read that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little clip in there of how all this worked out. I hope it made sense to you. If you have any more questions, by all means, this channel lives and dies by your comments and questions and suggestions. So don't hesitate. I really try to answer everything that makes sense or that I know how to answer. But remember to like, share, comment, do all those kind of things. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we'll continue on this journey. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody, in case I don't get back on here before Thursday. Y'all have a wonderful week. I'm out.